Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, my name is Nikki, and I would like to talk to you guys today about Killer Instinct's tier list, particularly the top 5 characters in the competitive scene. There's been a lot of debate about who the top 5 actually are for a long time, and since the game is no longer receiving any sort of development or updates or balance patches or anything like that, it's time we got to the bottom of this. And this is my personal list. You're going to see this vary between a lot of the different top players in the scene, and they're all going to have their different opinions, and there's going to be a lot of bias, of course, depending on what characters they play. But this is truly what I believe to be the top 5 characters in the game. And again, this is my personal opinion. This isn't a guaranteed fact, but I'm going to use all of the knowledge that I have to back up a lot of my statements. So let's get into it. This is the top 5 characters in Killer Instinct right now. My number 5 pick is Omen. This character is a beast. He excels well on the ground, he has great plus frames, he has the best fly in the game, he can cancel out of his forward fly to go into his backwards fly at any point and repeat the process at any point. His shadow form is a very tricky reversal that he can use to escape out of any situation and land with a air normal. He has very few bad matchups from what I can tell. He does have advantage over Fuegore, which is very rare, and he also has a lot of different ways to make his opponent guess in a lot of situations on Oki. He has 3 different cross-ups he can use. He's got a nasty shadow linker that adds on a lot of extra damage on the ground, and this character overall just has so many different ways to control you from anywhere on the screen. He's a full screen slide, he has great mobility, he's got pretty good damage, not the best damage in the game, but once he gets a little bit of extra meter, and Omen always has meter, he can contest you from anywhere on the screen. In my opinion, he only really struggles with Idol, specifically in Mage form, Hisako, and sometimes Arbiter. As a Fuegore main, I cannot stand this character, between getting my meter locked out constantly, and the left-right mix-ups that are super hard to defend against from the instant overheads. All you can do is pray and bow before the Herald of Gargos. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? It's Agonos. First things first, let's talk about the chunks. The chunks are crazy. He's able to have armor on everything that he does on the ground. He can use the chunks to set up resources like walls, which he can put you through for unbreakable cash outs. He can also pick up the wall and use it as a weapon or throw it at you, which will destroy projectiles along the way. He can also use chunks as payload, the projectile that he shoots out for Oki. That's really strong as well. And my god, this character's level of control is insane because of his crouching heavy kick. The stomp is a low and it's also a projectile, and it recovers so fast that you can't even punish it. Not to mention that whenever he has a bar, he can use Shadow Payload for an unbreakable B&B. He can get so much damage off of just popping you up with Shadow Payload and putting you through a wall from anywhere on the screen, and you can't do anything about it. It's his B&B, that's what he spends a lot of his meter for. Unless he gets a lockout or a counter breaker and he uses Shadow Pulverizer, which does just as much damage, if not more. His jump arc is super low to the ground, making it incredibly hard to anti-air his jumping heavy punch and his jumping heavy kick, and he can even destroy projectiles with his light punch. He really only struggles with Riptor and sometimes Fuegore, and the rest of the cast cowers in fear. At this point in the game, I'm pretty sure nobody is surprised to see this character on the list, Fuegore. Having played this character since he's been out, I can honestly say that his greatest strength is his neutral. Being able to control the screen with his great hitbox on Blade Dash, his lasers, his fireballs, his DP, and being able to special cancel them all with pips gives him a huge sense of control. His strike throw mix-ups are phenomenal too, between his plus on block light normals, his plus on block close medium proximity normals, his plus on block forward heavy punch, and his incredible backdash. And his throw range is one of the best in the game. He also has some super easy, very practical hit confirms off of his crouching medium kick, which is one of his best lows and one of the best footsie tools in the game, and his back heavy punch, which is his overhead, which cancels into his low laser for a safe, really easy to do mix-up. His wall splat ender is god tier. His mix-ups off of wall splat resets are insane between his lows, his overheads, his throw game, his shimmy game. He has so many options at the wall, and it is disgusting. His fireball ender is also really crazy because he gets a guaranteed hard knockdown on every single ender level. I know you guys are probably screaming at me to talk about it, so I'm finally going to talk about it. His teleport, the most broken thing about him. You can't see it. He goes completely invisible. The visual effect on it is crazy. Online with the rollback, it makes it even crazier to see. Just knock him down with the fireball ender, teleport, and voila, you have a built-in mix-up. A lot of the top players in this game have really impeccable defense, and they still get opened up by this teleport option because it's just so good. You physically cannot see him doing it, and you have to guess where he's going to be on the screen. His meter management is a little scary at first, but if you learn how to play this character, you'll come to find that he has little to no weaknesses. He is just that good. The boss queen of Ultra Tech herself, Arya is one of the scariest fighting game boss characters I have ever seen. Unlike most characters who have 2 life bars, she actually has 3, taking a little bit more damage on each body individually, so they all have less health, but they all have different tools that she can use, like her sword body that gives her chip on her sword normals and access to long range normals, her booster body, which allows her to fly and go for fly mix-ups, high, lows, left, rights, really crazy stuff, and her base form, which allows her to zone really well and gives her a mobility boost on the ground. While she's in one of her forms, she can call one of the other 2 forms to use as an assist. She can use these assists to lock down her opponent effectively and force more tag-style pressure with the assists. She can very safely call these assists as well, canceling into anything she wants during the animation of the assist call. She has light buttons that are plus on block that have really good range, and she also has a medium kick that's a projectile for easy far hit confirms. Her medium punch and heavy punch buttons have increased range when she's in the sword form, and she's able to use a forward heavy punch overhead that's actually +2 on block as well, and it's super hit confirmable. She has a DP damage ender in the blade form, she has a wall splat style ender in her booster form, the fly body, and she also has a battery ender when she's in the base form, the zoning form. So she has a lot of different enders. This character is great at stealing turns, she has some of the hardest linkers in the game to break, she has phenomenal damage when she's in instinct and when she has meter, she always gets a setup off of her hard knockdown and her launcher ender, her explosive arc and her shotgun blitz are extremely hard to punish for most of the cast, and she has one of the best instincts in the game, having a beam assist at all times. Evolve and pick a top tier, or die. Make your choice. Rash is not only one of the wackiest and craziest fighting game characters you've ever seen, but he's also the best character in Killer Instinct. This character has absolutely ridiculous damage output meterlessly, his throw damage is really crazy, he has some of the best strike throw mix-ups in the game, with having some of the best normals, if not the best normals in the game. His light boot is an incredible stop sign of a tool that's safe on block and is a great anti-air. The juggle potential on his normals and boot specials make for some very hard to break combos. His wrecking ball, which has armor on it on the ground and in the air, when spaced properly, is one of the best tools in the game at spacing your opponent out and causes some very difficult to punish situations. His Wicked Tongue allows him to not only eat projectiles, which builds his shadow meter, but fly across the screen, and the downward angle diagonal tongue can be used to continue pressure up close. His back heavy punch overhead, not only does it stagger, not only does it recapture, not only does it low crush, but it's also safe on block. His big bad boot and battering ram linker are extremely hard to break, requiring great animation recognition to be able to break them effectively. His only wake up is Shadow Big Bad Boot, which does a ton of chip damage and a lot of potential damage on hit. He has the best wall splat ender in the game, and he can wall splat you from half screen away. Additionally, he can wall splat you a second time with Shadow Wrecking Ball, which also cashes out PD. At the wall, he can extend his combos with very hard to break battering ram manuals to get more damage and get another ender. Once he has his instinct, the bike makes everything safe. He can cancel his Shadow Boot, which is extremely unsafe, into the bike and get a stagger, a recapture if you're in the air, and convert off of basically anything. He could even convert off of a throw mid-screen. Rash can simply do it all. He has overheads, lows, a flip out, staggers, recaptures, juggles, some of the best damage output, and no bad matchups. If you want to learn a really fun top tier in Killer Instinct, look no further than Rash.
These cameos are killing me.
Supreme victory!
don't forget, you guys can sign up for my private Discord server on my Patreon, Ultratech University. That's patreon.com/Ultratech University. You can join any of the tiers, any of the ones that aren't sold out. Just for $5 a month, you can join the Discord server. You can have access to my weekly lobbies on my Twitch stream. You can have access to my monthly tournaments that have prize pools, and you can be a part of our fun community nights. There's a lot of tech in the Discord. There's a lot of great players in there who are always willing to share their knowledge, and you can definitely get better at Killer Instinct by being a part of it. Thanks for watching.